Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the Monday edition of Carolina Week. Before you get on one of these rides at the State Fair, state inspectors have to make sure they're safe.
This park was supposed to open months ago, so why are the fields still empty? We'll have the answer.
In sports, Late Night with Roy marks the official beginning to another run at a national title in men's basketball, and we'll have all the highlights.
Jonathan O is here with your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and NASCAR meets the Barnyard. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and welcome to the October 16th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Katie Klein.
And I'm Jessica Floyd. Thousands of area residents are flocking to the State Fair, and they all want a fun, safe experience. The spinning, twisting, lurching rides on the Midway are especially important when it comes to safety. Janelle Henry is live in the studio. Janelle, tell us about the inspection process.
Jessica, there are more than 100 rides, each with scores of moving parts. Each of those parts has to pass a rigorous inspection before you and I can get on the rides.
The event that everyone's been talking about. Forget about Halloween. October means it's time for the State Fair. The rides are in full swing.
But it takes a lot of work before these rides are open to the public.
1 week before the fair opens, this heap of metal must become a ride. And every year, the North Carolina Labor Department works non-stop to make sure that happens. But putting together the rides is only half of the job. All rides must pass inspection before anyone is allowed to ride them. Labor Commissioner Cherie Berry says rides undergo many intense tests during the inspection.
We do non-destructive tests. We have good equipment to check for stresses on all the metal on the rides, and if we find anything, we have it reworked, re-welded, and then checked again.
Some rides, like this one, pass the inspections the first time with flying colors. Other rides, like this one, don't. So workers spend many hours correcting the problem the day before the fair opens. No worries, though. Berry says that most of the rides are ready by the time the fair opens, thanks to what she calls an exceptional inspection team.
We have in North Carolina the best inspection program in the country. Other states try to emulate what we've done, and our inspectors are thoroughly trained in what to look for.
Inspector Jonathan Brooks couldn't agree more.
As long as it's got a sticker on it from the North Carolina Department of Labor, I put my children on it at any time, any place, anywhere that the ride's set up.
There's been only one case of a ride that got stuck since the fair started. The generator on the Turbo Force stopped running, and workers had to hand crank the riders back down to the ground.
Janelle, what makes North Carolina's inspection program the best in the country?
North Carolina is the only state to adhere to the 100% inspection policy. So that means if a ride doesn't pass inspection at every level, it's just not open to the public.
Janelle Henry reporting live in the studio. Thanks, Janelle.
Tuesday, students will have an opportunity to elect some of the next university leaders. Dancing and holding signs are just a few of the ways some student Congress hopefuls are trying to get their names out to the student body. Carolina Student Congress is made up of 40 student representatives, and there are 14 seats to fill because of resignations. The South Campus election has the most competition, with 12 candidates running for only 2 open seats. Congress members say it's very important that students turn out to vote.
We'd love to see great student turnout, but from the perspective of Congress, we'd like to be sure every single seat gets filled.
Students can vote all day Tuesday on Student Central or at polling sites across campus. For more information about the candidates or the elections, visit our website at carolinaweek.org.
Don't forget that Student Congress seats aren't the only elections on the calendar. On Friday, citizens statewide saw grassroots activists manning registration tables until the final deadline for voter registration. College students aren't active voters statistically, but if you miss the deadline, it's not too late to ensure that you get a vote in the November elections. You can request an absentee ballot from the Board of Elections by email until October 31st. Your request should include your name, address, birth date, and signature. You can file the ballot until the day before the general election.
Carolina is the oldest state university in the country. Here's a look back at University Day, marking UNC's 213th birthday.
North Carolina, where the sun always shines on October the 12th. The day which commemorates the 213th anniversary of the tangible beginning of the University of North Carolina. This year is the 250th anniversary of the birth of William Richardson Davie, the university's founder and the creator of public higher education in America.
It's true, I love this university to my very core. I am a Tar Heel born. I am a Tar Heel bred. And by God, when I die, I'll be as Tar Heel dead. By far the single greatest honor I can imagine ever being given. Because I love what this university stands for, and particularly what this campus stands for. It is proudly a public university, and it is, this campus is, a university of the people.
City Park in Durham has been closed to the public for more than a year.
But it's not the lack of visitors that's kept it closed. Coming up, the squabble between city and a contractor that's keeping kids off the playground.
Art can be many, many, many things. The North Carolina Museum of Art offers one of the premier art collections in the Southeast, and it's yours to discover. There's something for everyone. Works by classic and contemporary artists, a 164-acre museum park, an outdoor concert series, performances, and so much more. Experience all that art can be at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
To change the world, you don't have to be rich, or famous, or play ball, or lead countries. All you have to do is tell your family you want to be an organ donor. Talk to your family about organ donation. Talk to your family about donating life.
A political tug-of-war is preventing a Durham park from opening to the public. Reporter Carla Babb investigated to find the cause for the delay.
Cool sunny days are a perfect time to go to the park, but a chilly relationship between the city of Durham and a contractor is keeping this park closed.
City parks are usually full of life this time of year, but at Herndon Park in southwest Durham, about the only life are the overgrown weeds covering the new baseball and soccer fields. City officials say the park was supposed to be completed in 2005, but setbacks and a legal battle between the city and the contractor have left the park unfinished and empty. Durham Director of General Services Mark Greenspan says the city wants the park open.
Our desire is to get the park opened, to correct the defects, and to make the facility available for the citizens.
But RP construction employee Tim Bridgers says city mistakes are what's keeping the park closed. He says the park is missing many crucial elements.
Well, this park has many issues with it that's not related to RP construction. The road, Scott Keene Road, doesn't have a sewer line on it. And without the sewer line on it, you can't open the park either way. Our sewer runs from site out to the roadway and it has no connection. I can't get a plumbing final, I can't get a site final, I can't get any of these things without the sewer line being in place.
Durham officials still focus the blame on the contractor's delays. Greenspan said he could not go into detail because of the lawsuit. He did stress that the city wants the park open as soon as possible.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate situation for the city and our residents. We want a park. We want this park opened. It is late, and the city is not pleased, and we are doing everything in our power to try to resolve the situation.
The contractor claims that the city has sat on the situation for months and that Durham paid a subcontractor prematurely and left unfinished work for the contractor to fix.
The biggest deficiency we have is work that was performed by a minority contractor through the city of Durham. RP was not in favor of paying for this work. We thought it was deficient. The city decided to pay him anyway. They paid him directly and deducted money from our contract amount, and the work that he was paid to do is still left undone. It's sort of interesting that they filed a complaint months after we had already filed suit against the city of Durham. But RP hasn't been paid since March of this year, and we've still been out here working even though we've not been paid.
Bridgers says the contractor filed the claims in hopes of opening the park faster. City officials say the park will open in 2007 despite litigation. But for residents who want to use this park now, this legal mess just means more waiting.
Carla, what are some of the planning problems the contractor mentioned?
Well, Katie, aside from the unfinished sewer, he says irrigation valves are way too close to the bases, and the concession stand's pipes are unable to drain water, which means they could burst in the winter months. Bridgers says that the inspector just came this week and would not approve the plans.
Carla Babb reporting from Durham.
You'd usually have to travel to cities like New York, Chicago, or Boston to see a large collection of Monet's paintings, but now you only have to drive to Raleigh. The North Carolina Museum of Art is hosting a collection of 50 paintings by Impressionist Claude Monet. Curators say it's a miracle for a museum this size to be able to host such a prestigious exhibit. It's the first scholarly exhibit to focus on France's Normandy province, where Monet spent much of his
that
career.
They were accepted for the salon. And
Curator David Steele says the exhibit will allow visitors to see Monet's paintings in a different way.
You see just how amazingly free they're painted. You see colors that can't be reproduced in a book, that can't be reproduced on a towel or a playing card. And so seeing these pictures is like seeing them for the first time.
The Monet exhibit runs through January 14th. General admission is $15, and tickets for students, seniors, and groups cost $12 each.
Who was the first black student to graduate from Carolina? Who is Davis Library named after? And what university hall is named after a former KKK member? You can get those questions answered at the new online museum, which Chancellor James Measer helped unveil on Thursday.
Part of this university's history is in fact painful and is not worthy of praise.
The museum features scans of original historical documents, interviews with important figures, a virtual map featuring the history of campus buildings. Virtual museum editor Henry Watson says online flexibility is a distinct advantage of a virtual setting.
It also is something that can be changed more easily, and that way we can improve it, we can add to it. There's really no limit whatsoever to how big this can get.
To check out the online museum, visit our website at carolinaweek.org for a link.
You know, it's getting a little cooler outside. I mean, it's about time to pull out those sweaters.
And weathercaster Jonathan O is here to tell us what the weather is going to look like over fall break.
Well, it seems like the temperatures are going to start playing a little game with us. It's going to be a little warmer and then a little cooler, and we might have to dodge some raindrops as well. But for this weekend, it was about time to pull out the jackets and scarves. Even with the fur coat, this little critter is feeling the fall chill. Coming up, I'll let you know just how much you'll need to bundle up.
Okay, guys, time for takeoff. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Wow! Whoa, look at that! Is that Jupiter?
Hey kids, it's time to go to the planetarium.
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
Immunizations are not just for kids. No matter your state of health, your age, or how you spend your day, you're at risk for serious disease if your immunizations are not up to date. Take the time to visit your health professional and find out which vaccines you need. Immunization saves lives. One of them might be yours. For more information, visit vaccineinformation.org.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Jonathan. I hope you're having a great start to your Monday, and it seems like the weather is going to be a little bit tricky, so let's get right on to it. It seems like the state fair weather is here, and in terms of the cloud cover, it's going to be back and forth, and we might have to dodge some raindrops. In fact, on Tuesday, it's going to be a little rainy. A huge system is moving through our area, and so you might need to bring out those umbrellas. And then we might see a warm fall break. The temperature is going to start warming up, and it's going to be maybe pleasant. We might see even 80-degree temperatures by the end of the week. Taking a look at your regional view, look at this. Beautiful colors, but rainy colors. Green and yellow shades over Mississippi to the west of us, and that's starting to come into our area. Some areas of South Carolina and the western sections of North Carolina is starting to see this rain coming in through the southeastern area. There's that low pressure right here. There's that cold front. And that's going to continue pushing toward the east and giving us that chance to rain for Tuesday. The leading edges of this warm front is bringing some of that moisture in our area as well. For Wednesday, when it's zoomed 48 hours from now, and notice that this low pressure system now has pushed off our area and it's pretty dry. So it seems like that Wednesday evening, when you're about to hit fall break, it's going to be a pleasant time. If you happen to be traveling to around North Carolina, if you're headed home someplace, we're expecting partly cloudy skies through most of the areas east of Greensboro, but those to the west of us in Asheville and in Charlotte, 30 to 40% chance of rain for both of those areas, and temperatures will be 70 to 80 degrees on Thursday in case if you're traveling around North Carolina. Now, if you're headed to the state fair, it seems like that Tuesday night, not the greatest chance to go out there. You're going to have to dodge a lot of raindrops. A chance to rain with a low of 50 degrees at that time. Wednesday, chance to rain in the morning hours, but then in the evening when you're out and you're on fall break, you can see this starting to clear out, and temperatures are going to be pleasant 60 degrees, which means that you might need to bring out maybe a jacket or so, but it's going to be good weather for going to the fair and enjoying your time away from midterms and away from papers. I don't know, it depends how you look at that. Chance of rain Tuesday, and then temperatures will start warming up to the 80s, shorts and t-shirt weather possibly. Unfortunately, another storm system will be coming through our area and giving us a chance of rain on Friday, but temperatures will be warm. You might need some shorts and a t-shirt by then. So you need to play a little game with the two different types of clothes that you have in your wardrobe.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jonathan. And this cooler weather does remind me of one thing, and that's basketball season.
That's right, Katie. And who knows more than our sportscaster, Brandon Curry. Brandon, how's the basketball team shaping up?
Another year, another chance for a national championship. Coming up in sports, it's been too many long months, and they're back. Tyler Hansbrough and the rest of the basketball team are back on the court. Stick around for all of the highlights from Late Night with Roy coming up.
Excuse me, do you guys get tested for HIV?
Tested for HIV? No way, man, that's just not where we're at right now. It's just about us and our music.
What you doing to me? What you doing to me?
I am a Tar Heel born. I'm a Tar Heel bred. And when I die, I'm a Tar Heel dead. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the student news show.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Brandon Curry. All right, kids, bust out your number 2 pencils and take out a piece of paper. School's in session. Ding, ding. Basketball season has started, and reporter Brian Allen has all the information you need to know to pass Carolina Basketball 101.
There were the outrageous skits, the Duke bashing.
If Carolina plays at Duke on Duke senior night, what is the probability that the home team Duke will come out on top?
And of course, a little bit of Roy dancing. But there were also a few lessons to be learned from Friday's Late Night with Roy. Lesson 1. The women's team may have been the best team on the court. Led by Ivory Latta, the team figures to be one of the fastest in the country, with Rashonda McCants developing into a legitimate threat. Lesson 2. Brandon Wright may be the most awkward dancer on the team. Wow. Speaking of awkward dancing, Lesson 3. Tyler Hansbrough is better and stronger than he was last year. He is a legitimate candidate for National Player of the Year and will be the Heels' main scoring threat from day one. Lesson 4. Taiwan Lawson is for real. He looks like the best Carolina point guard since, well, Raymond Felton. Lesson 5. With Divine Noel taking her act to the pros, Martha Vineyard proves she's a future star. Let's just hope she stays in the club while Marcus Ginyard shows up to play on game day. Finally, Lesson 6. Rayshawn Terry and Wes Miller have a tough job in leading a team that is comprised almost entirely of freshmen and sophomores. But after Friday's Late Night with Roy, it already looks like the team is starting to gel. If the Heels can learn from these early lessons, the 2006-2007 season might be one to remember. From Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Allen, Carolina Week Sports.
Now that basketball season has started, most fans have already forgotten about the woes of our football team. Unfortunately for the Heels on the gridiron, they still have 6 games left. Carolina returned to Kenan Stadium Saturday looking to improve a 1-4 start. Ronnie McGill ran for the first touchdown of the game, giving the Heels an early 7-0 lead. The tide quickly changed as Carolina lost hold of game-changing opportunities. In return, the Golden Bulls charged straight into the end zone. Tar Heel fans chose not to stick around for the ending as the Heels fell 37-20. Coach John Bunning says the loss is a result of repeated mistakes.
Several opportunities we have not taken advantage of. I mean, you could look at any week, and that's where we suffer.
Things only get worse for Carolina. Larry Edwards, the team's leading tackler, is out for the season with a broken collarbone. He had 42 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries in 6 games this year. From football to soccer, the women's soccer team had a big weekend at home. First up, Boston College on Thursday. First half, Heather O'Reilly receives the ball and dribbles it down into the left corner. Gaining control of it, she crosses it up to a Boston College defender. Ouch, that own goal put Carolina up 1-0. Later in the first half, Whitney Engen with the ball, taken down hard by BC, but does not draw the foul, and the crowd is not happy.
That's a terrible call!
Carolina fans upset with the officiating, but Coach Durant does not lose his cool.
When a final player takes a player down, like the goalkeeper taking out Heather, I mean, there's an opportunity there for a red card. But to be completely frank, I wouldn't have wished that on BC.
Heather O'Reilly closes out the final minute with a penalty kick, her 7th goal of the season. The Tar Heels defeat the Eagles 3-1. After the win against Boston College, the women's soccer team took on Virginia Tech on Sunday afternoon at Fetzer Field. The Heels took a lot of shots on the Virginia Tech goal, but were having a little trouble getting the ball past the keeper. The first half remained scoreless, but Carolina was persistent. Finally, in the 55th minute, Yael Averbush shot and scored unassisted. This was Averbush's 9th goal of the season and the only goal scored by either team the whole day. It was Kids Club Day at Fetzer Field, so all of the UNC players stayed behind to sign autographs for the kids after the win. Some people might say the Carolina football team is on ice. There's another team on campus that's supposed to fit that description. Here's reporter Jennifer Carpenter with more.
The Carolina Classic, a new ACC tradition. 4 college hockey teams compete in a 3-day round-robin tournament. The main contenders, Appalachian State and UNC Chapel Hill. It's the beginning of the season, and UNC hockey is ready to play.
One, two, three, Heels!
Every one of us that's in here play their best in order for us to come out with a win tonight.
Coach Dave Kurtz keeps all 22 players in line. The Carolina Classic is UNC's chance to get the season started right. And so the game begins.
We got the ref that we had tonight was the ref last night in a 3-hour, 51 penalty called game. So keep your mouth shut. We stay out of the box. We're going to be on the power play a lot.
Even with more than 40 called penalties, UNC and Appalachian played a seriously violent game. They may wear a lot of padding, but a hard check to the glass or trip on the ice has got to hurt. Even though Appalachian State had plenty of shots on goal, Carolina came out on top. With the crowd on their side, the Heels would win the game 4-3. But every game, win or loss, ends like it started.
All right, boys. All right, boys. Let's bring it in.
Heels on 3, guys. 1, 2, 3. Yes!
From the Factory Ice House, I'm Jennifer Carpenter. Carolina Week.
Those guys are tough. Not only are they great athletes, keeping their balance on the ice has to be tough.
Thanks, Brendan.
Now that we know that the rides are safe, I can't wait to go to the fair.
Well, you know there's more to the fair than just rides. Up next, we'll show you why these little piggies have people up on their toes.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
If you're in Raleigh this week, you might notice the aroma of corn dogs and funnel cake in the air.
Or it might be fried Oreos. The North Carolina State Fair is underway, and we sent our own Javon Vital to check out the sights and sounds.
At first glance, this could pass as a regular race, but you soon realize this isn't your ordinary race. It's pig racing, one of the many attractions at the North Carolina State Fair. These Need for Speed hogs burst out of the gate to run a circuit on this special track. Of course, pig racing isn't the only event featured at the Hogway Speedway. Ducks are seasoned racers, and yes, even goats. Jared won this particular heat.
Jared, how does it feel to be a winner? Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Race commentator Brent Cook shares a special connection with the Speedway.
I was raised around animals. Started out showing animals at the local fairs, county fairs, and 4-H. And we started out with petting zoos and pony rides, and we had the animals. So we thought, well, why don't we put a pig racing unit on the road, racing animals around the track? And now we have 3 of them.
Animal racing isn't the only fun thing to experience at the State Fair. There are countless games and rides for kids and adults. But who can forget the food? These deep-fried delectable treats are a connoisseur's dream and a fitness guru's nightmare. Kathy Stanley spent a fair amount of time preparing for this particular night.
I've spent this past week riding my bike. I did manage to ride about 15 miles this week. Walking with the ladies at the school while we're waiting to pick up the kids. Doing weightlifting and just watching what I eat because this blows any diet right out of the water.
After a long day of pig racing and funnel cakes, there's nothing like taking a ride on the Ferris wheel to top it off. In Raleigh, I'm Javon Vital, Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching.
Good night.